What's good, guys? How we feeling and how we doing? All right, so I've had this requested of me for numerous different occasions, so I might as well go ahead and make you guys a little video on how to do this. Basically what I'm gonna be going over is how I get my Tarkov graphics, how I get everything so colorful, how I'm able to see everyone across a horizon, how I'm able to see everyone from like a super far distance and see like the smallest little changes within the bushes here and there. So I've had a few homies actually request this of me, and I've always kind of shown it on stream, but I wanted to make a little video of it so that you guys have all the ingredients that you need in order to go ahead and see the type of Tarkov that I see as well. Now, one thing to note is that I am running all these graphics on a 3080 Nvidia 3080 EVGA graphics card, but I also ran this on my 2080 Super, and I have a few buddies who are running it on 1660s, and it still achieves the same look, feel, and effectiveness when you do play the game. So make sure you do have an Nvidia card, which is kind of like the extra layer that goes into this. If you have an AMD, I'll go ahead and see if I can make another setup for you guys for that type of team. But first things first, let's get right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the live screen so you can see everything in those finest little details, and then we'll get the show on the road. All right, first things first, guys, open up your Nvidia control panel. This is going to be your most important little piece of the puzzle. This is going to be your foundation, and then we're going to go into Tarkov and adjust the settings from there too. So I'll go ahead and make this full screen for you guys. It's a little bit more visual for you guys too. Now I'm going to be working off of my gaming monitor. So I have two monitors here. I have my chat monitor where I handle all my music, my Discord, everything else, and then I have my actual gaming monitor. So remember, that's the one that you want selected when you go ahead and run these settings. If you have one monitor, then you're golden, just pick that one. Now moving forward, desktop colors, right? We'll start here. We have color on all channels. Your brightness is at 50%, contrast 50%, your gamma's at 1, nothing too crazy, and your digital vibrance is at 50%, and your hue is at 0. This is kind of the baseline that I start with whenever I go into my Nvidia control panel. Now we're gonna go from top to bottom so you guys see everything that I actually do here. So right now, this is my preview here. I just go for the quality preference over the performance. Performance is going to give you that more of like a sharpness feel, versus the quality will give you that smooth line work on your actual graphics and in the game itself. Now you can go ahead and also, if you want to, manage a 3D setting. From here, there's a lot of little shenanigans that you could go through. I'll go through them a little quickly, and then you guys can go ahead and check them out. But your image scaling is off. Ambient occlusion is on performance. Your anisotropic filtering is application controlled, which is obviously Escape from Tarkov, right? Anti-aliasing FXAA is off. Anti-aliasing gamma correction is on. Anti-aliasing mode, application controlled, back to Tarkov, right? Anti-aliasing transparency off. Background application max frame rate off. The CUDA, as I like to call it, GPUs is all. DSR factors are off. The smoothness is all automatically off to begin with. Low latency mode is on. Max frame rate is off. Monitor technology, if you have G-Sync, select G-Sync. You can also do this with the other option, which is, I believe it's called FreeSync. And then along with that, you have multi-frame sampling, AA, which is off. OpenGL rendering, GPU auto select, power management mode, all this other stuff kind of goes into your actual PC. But now we go into the texture section. Your texture filtering, anisotropic sample off. Texture filtering, negative LOD bias allow. The quality texture filtering is obviously set to quality. Your trilinear optimization is on. Threaded optimization is auto, and then triple buffering is off. VSync, user 3D application setting, which we went through before, which is that quality setting that we set up before. Now moving forward, I don't really play with this. Just make sure that your actual graphics card is selected here and your configure, surround, and all that jazz. Resolution, keep it as native, in my opinion. Just keep it as a native one, and then your refresh rate, have it be the maximum refresh rate that you have. Now we already went through the colors, so now I'll move through the rotate screen, which we don't have to do. Obviously, display, this is another shenanigan you don't really need to talk about. Digital audio, don't really need to do. The size and position, just make sure that you're going to be running on aspect ratio, not full screen, and then not no scaling. Now, if you are playing Minecraft by any chance, I hear that integer scaling is actually preferred. So food for thought. Now, going up, setting up G-Sync, I enable for windowed and full screen mode, and I do enable G-Sync myself. And then after that, now we're ready to go into some other shenanigans. But first things first, adjust video color settings. This section here, it's with the video player. I kind of let it be as is. I don't really want to change it too much because I'm going to be changing this a lot more in the Tarkov settings. Now we move over here. Use the Nvidia video player setting. Same thing with video image settings. Don't really need to change anything. Just make sure you use inverse telecin. That's something that you have to have checked on. Now moving on, let's get into Tarkov. So over here, go into your settings section, and then go into your graphics. This is the first section that I do recommend going into before you do post effects. I prefer playing on borderless mode. Now, if you want better frame rate, I hear going on full screen mode does actually make your frame rate significantly better. But for me personally, I prefer being able to swap back and forth between my actual stream setup and also my game itself. Keep your aspect ratio matching whatever you had set as native in your Nvidia control panel. Now, overall graphics quality, it's custom, right? So you have to play around with this a little bit to match your graphics card, but I ran this exact setting on both my 2080 Super and the 3080, and it works perfectly. So texture quality, I keep it on high. That's going to give me that ability to kind of like see the textures of various different things throughout the map. If you do lower this, Tarkov becomes more cartoony, which I see a lot of other streamers are doing this. It makes it a little bit easier to see players, but it makes the game feel a lot less of a simulation like shooter versus, and it becomes more like a Call of Duty style game. Shadow quality is medium. You don't need to have aggressive shadows, but you do need to see a little bit of shadows when people are turning corners into hallways and there's a light in the hallway. You want to see that shadow, because if you have it on too low, like you have low or off, you're not going to see that shadow and you won't see him turning the corner ahead of time, so you can get that nice right hand lean peek. Now moving forward, your object LOD quality is 2.5. Overall visibility is maxed out at 3000. I like to be able to see everything. I want to be able to be running through woods and I'll see someone on the skyline running across the screen, right? That's what I'm looking for. Now going ahead, now we go to anti-aliasing. Once again, we go TAA high on this application, and then resampling is 1x off. Your HBOW is on low. Your SSR is off. Anisotropic filtering is per texture. There are other settings, but I like per texture a little bit more. And then your Nvidia reflex low latency is on and boost. Along with that, your sharpness, a lot of people like to kind of pick out their own sharpness. I go at 0.4 personally. I've seen people go up to 0.6 or even lower down to 0.2. This is basically just going to give you that kind of really edgy line work on like tree lines, on actual like buildings, all the really edge, like a lot of the edges. So if you want to see like very, very aggressive edges, this will work in CQC area. You'll see people's bodies a lot easier in CQC if you have high sharpness. But if you're in woods and your sharpness is too high, everything becomes a needle and you can't see anything. So I found 0.4 is my happy medium. Now, one other thing to note, all these little check marks down here, uncheck all of them. They're all trash. You don't need any of them. The only one that you do need is MIP streaming. That one does help with your frames, and it helps a lot with other little shenanigans here and there, just to make your quality of life a lot better. Now, finally, post effects. Now, I have played with a lot of different post effects throughout my wipes that I've been going through. Sometimes I use color grading. Sometimes I use colorblind mode. It varies a ton based off of what wipe we're in. This current wipe is my current post effects setup. So my brightness is at 50. My saturation is at 100. Clarity, 100. Colorfulness, 100. Because that's what's going to make the game pop. So it doesn't look like it's all dark and like in Mother Russia, it's always raining. No, like it's actually going to look like bright, and you're going to see a lot of changes in the horizon. This is where it really helps me, seeing people, like I'll be in a group and we'll be W keying, and like everyone's W keying towards fortress or dorms, and they won't be able to see anything in the horizon, but I'll see something in the corner of my eye. I'll see two PMCs running across the screen, and I'll be like, oh, they're right there, because the PMC is normally usually darker than the actual background or the world that you're in. So when I actually see that, because everything's so bright, that person's going to be significantly darker, and we're going to see that run across the screen, and that helps a lot for me, because I'm usually the guy who's always listening for enemies and looking for enemies as much as I can, so that my team can get ready to go ahead and move on to them. Now Luma sharpen is 0, and then adaptive sharpen is 20. Now this wipe, I don't use any color grading or colorblind mode at all, and it has been working immaculately. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. All right. So that is my little graphic settings for you guys. If you guys do want to check out the cool and clean color scheme that we have when we're running, go ahead and check out my other YouTube videos down below. Make sure to hit subscribe. And if you guys want to check out some of the shorts, you will get a little inkling of how my game actually looks. And you guys will be able to see, oh, wow, maybe I'll give it a try. I appreciate you guys. Be safe. And remember, bomba clat. I'll see you guys on the flip side. And take it easy.